Hey guys, PHX Loki here, bringing you another Hearthstone video. It's been a little while since my last one. Yeah, but the release of Goblins vs. Gnomes, I thought it would be about time I made another video. So I'm going to be showcasing a deck which I played primarily through my ladder run. This is actually the first season I've hit legend rank, I don't know. Anyways, it's the first time I really tried to hit Legend by grinding for it, and I played pretty much exclusively Paladin, grinding up. There was one deck that I was using that was similar to Trump's quartered deck. That got me to about rank 4-ish, and then I switched over, and I'm using a deck provided by Powder. He just played in the Kingwin tournament. I actually forget which team he's on. I think it's like iHearth U or something like that. Anyways, it's a really solid deck. Has very few bad matchups, and anyways, I'll just get into the deck here. He's actually held #1 on the European ladder for Legend for about a week-ish, which is saying a lot. Anyways, I'll just jump right into the deck list. So you got your basics. You got Equality and Consecrate. You got 2 True Silvers. You got 2 Aldors. You got Tyrian Forging, you got 1 Lay on Hands. That's all fairly basic for pretty much any Paladin deck, whether it be control, aggro, or mid-range. This is actually a mid-range deck. It can be kind of aggro-y and can rush down opponents fairly fast. Not as fast as Zoo or Hunter, obviously, but you know it'll get the job done against the slower control decks. But it is not a control deck either. It's mid-range, so it shines during the middle of the game, but it has a pretty good early game and it scales out to the late game. Anyways, so those are the basics. Got 2 Zombie Chows in here, just a really solid early drop. Death Rattle, restore 5 health to enemy hero. That can be detrimental if you try to play it late game. You know, 5 health can make a difference, but at the same time, these aren't in the deck for late game drops. These are supposed to be turn 1, turn 2, maybe turn 3 drops, where you can't beat these stats for 1 mana. The only other 1 mana card which can get higher stats, I believe, is the Undertaker, but the Undertaker has to be buffed. These are just base stats. So you drop this, and it's really just about gaining board control. You kill all their little stuff, you kill their 1 drops, their 2 drops with the Zombie Chow, and I mean, whenever he dies, if they're still at 30 health and it restores 5 health, it doesn't mean anything. They're not actually gaining health. All you've done was establish board control with the Zombie Chow, which is why it's so fantastic. You drop this against a Hunter or against a Zoolock early, and you're right on even footing right from the get-go. Deck only runs 1 Silence, Ironbeak Owl. I think every deck should have at least 1 Silence, you know, for drops like Tyrian. Obviously, he's a huge Silence target. So this is the 1 Silence in the deck. It's not meant to be a, you know, you could have had Spellbreaker in here, but I don't think it needs it, and neither did the creator of the deck. This is supposed to be purely utility. 2 Knife Jugglers synergizes really well with the hero power, and also synergizes very well with the new card, Muster for Battle, or Unleash the Dudes as it's commonly called on Reddit. Summons 3 1/1 Silverhand Recruits, those are your little hero powers, and it equips a 1/4 weapon, which is a Light's Justice, this guy right here. Really great for getting board presence immediately. You get 3 bodies out, you get a weapon, you know, all that. And if you have a Knife Juggler in play, I mean, he flings 3 knives if you play this afterwards, which, you know, it's good synergy. And I mean, he works with all the other little drops in your deck, and yeah, even if you can't get him to juggle anything, he's still good for early presence, for fear of Muster for Battle, which can really wreck an early aggro board. So I think it's just a really solid minion to have in the deck. Shielded Minibot, another new GVG Paladin card. 2/2/2 with Divine Shield. It's basically a buffed up Argent Squire. Really, really solid. The Divine Shield means so much. I mean, it trades for any other 2-drop in the game and lives. I mean, the other person, they have, say, like a Mad Scientist and a Web Spinner playing against a Hunter, and you trade this into the Mad Scientist, it lives with full health, Divine Shield gets popped, and the Web Spinner trades into this, and I mean, it's still alive with 2/1. It's just really fantastic for early board control. 2 Aldor Peacekeepers, standard, you play against Giants, Savannah High mains, anything of that like, bring their attack to 1. Pretty useful. True Silver Champion, just a great weapon to have. 2 Consecrations, should have it in the deck. 1 Defender of Argus, for just as much for the taunt as for the stat boost. Sometimes you need just a little bit of extra attack or health to let a minion survive or let a minion kill something else. So this is just a one-of in the deck. 2 Piloted Shredders, another new GBG card. It's a mech. This has been widely replaced in slots that would have normally been taken by, say, like maybe Chillwind Yeti. The reason Piloted Shredder is used is because it summons a random 2-cost minion whenever it dies. It just has a lot of value in it. I mean, it is a random minion, so you can get anything from, Captain's Parrot or Novice Engineer, which are both 1/1s, to Millhouse Manastorm, which is a 4/4 and actually has better stats than the Piloted Shredder. So it's a sticky minion that leaves something behind. Really good to have. This is a twist that I put on the deck, the Anti-Keelbot. I found that against a lot of the aggro matchups, I was, right when I was starting to actually take over the game, I mean, you keep toe-to-toe with them for the most part, but they're still an aggro deck. They're still going to get damage through, and you're still going to be hurting. But with Anti-Keelbot, once you start getting board control, and really start to, press down and take over the game, I mean, you might still be low, like, it's 6 HP or something, I mean, a Doomguard will kill you, Soulfire, something along, Hunter Hero Power will kill you in 2 turns. Anti-Keelbot kind of prevents that. It gets, once you get right back in the game, drop this guy, you have 8 health. I mean, it's like a lay on hands, plus you get the 3/3 body. I think it's just really great to have in the deck. Before Anti-Keelbot, the deck creator actually had Bolvar 4-Dragon, which is this card, the new Paladin Legendary. Whenever a friendly minion dies, well, this is in your hand, gain +1 attack. And it's not that I think Bolvar is bad. I think he's actually a pretty good Legendary. He was really shot down whenever he was first announced. But he's proven his worth. I mean, he can be silenced and go back down to a 1/7. But I mean, just like muster for battle, you play this on turn 3 and, something on turn 4, and all that stuff dies. I mean, he's at least going to be a 4/7. 4/7 for 5 mana, that's stats of Fugan. I mean, those are considered good 5-drop stats. But he has the upside of being able to become potentially huge. I mean, I've seen Bolvar with over 20 attack before. And more often than not, decks are running fewer silences now because they're trying to min-max, be more efficient. So they're running fewer silences than they were pre-GVG, which means that Bolvar has less of a chance to be silenced. And if he does get silenced, I mean, most decks only run 1 silence. Some might run 2, like Druids have 2 Keepers of the Grove. But, I mean, you silence Bolvar, and that's 1 less silence for Tyrion, which, honestly, I'd rather have Bolvar silenced than Tyrion, unless Bolvar obviously is like a 37, which is super rare. Usually you're going to drop him, and he's going to be like between 6/7 and 10/7, which are still incredible stats for a 5-drop, and most of the time he's just going to eat hard removal. He's going to get executed, he's going to get shield slammed, he's going to get fireballed, he's going to get kill commanded, or minions are going to have to trade into him because he just becomes too big of a threat, and they don't have a silence in hand to get rid of him just that easily. So I think he is really, really good, but the reason I have Anti-Keelbot is, I said, some of the aggro matchups, I mean, right when you start to get board control and right when you start to win the game, you die to a Hunter Hero Power or a random kill command or something. Anti-Keelbot kind of prevents that from happening, because Lay on Hands, that's supposed to be your main heal, but it's 8 mana, and it's only 1 card, so by throwing in another 8 heal, you have double the chance of drawing a heal, and this is also less mana, so if you need it on turn 6 or 7, you can play this, whereas you wouldn't be able to play Lay on Hands. So that's why I prefer Anti-Keelbot. Lotheb's in the deck. Lotheb, just super solid creature. Most decks run him. It's not much to say about that. He's good for locking down a game or, preventing your opponent from casting spells next turn. 2 Quartermasters, another new GBG card. It's a 5/2/5, which is not fantastic stats, but his battle cries give your Silverhand recruits +2/+2. And this is absolutely huge. This is what's going to win you at least 50% of your games, is the Quartermaster Muster for Battle combo. I mean, turn 8, you play Muster for Battle, followed up with Quartermaster, and instead of having 3 1-1s and a 2-5, you have 3 3-3s and a 2-5 out, plus a 1-4 weapon, and that's just massive. The reason there are 2 of them in the deck is just so you can draw it more often. I mean, even if you just buff up 1 Silverhand Recruit, say you have a 1-1 out already, and you need just a little bit extra, you don't really have much to play. I mean, you play Quartermaster and buff that up. I mean, this Quartermaster is essentially a 4-7 in itself, which, again, Fugan stats, those are good stats. The reason I say 4-7 and not 5-8 is because the 1-1 is already there, the stats were already there, and he only gives +2/+2, so you add 2 to each. Anyways, it's really sick, it's really awesome, and it's making a lot of decks respect the little dudes, which they didn't really have to before, but now, because of the threat of Quartermaster, they have to keep your board cleared. If you get too many 1-1s on the field and they don't get rid of them, I mean, you can just Quartermaster and end the game just out of nowhere. That's just how powerful this card is. Moving on to Sludge Belchers, fairly standard in most decks, just an upgraded Senjin Shieldmaster. It's, you know, taunt within a taunt. They have to go through it once and then they have to go through it again. So these things can eat up a lot of damage, and they can also eat silences, because a lot of people just don't like dealing with Sludge Belchers. Sylvanas, you know, another good card. I mean, your opponent plays a giant or something, drop Sylvanas on the field. Either going to eat a silence or you're going to steal their giant. I mean, it's a pretty good trade-off, I think. Dr. Boom. Another new GBG card, a GBG Legendary, the only new GBG Legendary in this deck, aside from Bolvar, but I removed him. He's a 7/7/7, which are War Golem stats, which is generally known as not that great, because he can get Big Game Huntered. He costs 1 more mana than a Boulder Fist Ogre. Boulder Fist Ogre is 1 mana less, and he's considered a better card to have in a deck than a War Golem. Not that decks run either of them, so why would you run Dr. Boom? Well, he summons 2 1/1 Boom Bots. The 1/1 Boom Bots are 2 1/1 minions, like your little dudes, but they have a death rattle of whenever they die, they explode and hit a random enemy, can be hero or minion, for 1 to 4 damage. These bots are really hard to play around because of their randomness. I mean, they're minions, so they can do damage, they can attack. It's really good for filling up the board. I mean, you get the 2 boom bots, plus you get the big body that has to be dealt with, because even though it is, you know, considered bad stats for 7, I mean, it's still a big body. They're still going to have to deal with it one way or another, whether it's Big Game Hunter or hard removal. I mean, something has to be done, or else he's going to win the game. And even if he dies, he leaves behind the 2 boom bots, which can really, really mess with an opponent's board. And it's a really great way to just fill up your board, just like Muster for Battle. I think right now he's considered possibly the best GBG Legendary, at least best neutral Legendary to be released. It's kind of underrated at first, but a lot of decks are running him now. Anyways, Lay on Hands, just 1. You get to late game, you know, you need some, you're running kind of low on health. Restores health, draws 3 cards. It's probably the best healing spell in the game, just for that reason. Restore a big chunk of health and fill up your hand. I mean, I'll take that card. And of course, Tyrion Fordring. What would a Paladin deck would be without Tyrion? Anyways, that's the deck list. This is a mid-range deck, so it doesn't have a plethora of legendaries. I mean, it has 2 8-drops, 1 7, 1 6, 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, and, you know, a single 1-drop. So it's in this range. This is where the meat is. Anyways, I'll get onto the ladder. I'll play a game or two just to show you all how the deck works. It has pretty good matchups against everything. The matchups that I find the toughest are Handlock and Warrior. Warrior, because they have so much removal. It's just absurd how much removal they have. And you basically have to outpace them. You have to outpace their removal and try to make them empty their hand. If you can't do that, then they're just gonna, you know, 1 card, kill 1 thing for 1 mana. I mean, that's just, you can't beat that. So that's how you beat Warriors. Speaking of which, here's a Warrior. The other matchup is Handlock, is actually fairly difficult, just because they have all their board clears. I mean, they can set up huge taunts, which are really hard to get around. They can set up, you know, Shadow Flame. They just drop, like, you know, Twilight Drake or an Ancient Watcher, Shadow Flame, and your board's gone. Because your board isn't really all huge legendaries. You know, it's a lot of little dudes, and you know, a lot of little dudes, a lot of medium-sized dudes, and that's really just what it is. So those are the two hardest matchups. With both of them, you really have to try to rush them down. You can sometimes outlast a Control Warrior, but I find it to be rather difficult. Alright, so I played turn 1 Zombie Chow, just because I felt like, you know, obviously you're going to play turn 1 Zombie Chow. Now the question here is, do you play Shielded Minibot, or do you play Knife Juggler? I'm going to go with Knife Juggler. Because I have 2 Knife Jugglers in hand. Shielded Minibot is more durable, but this is more of a threat. So if I have, now he's thinking if I have Muster for Battle, I mean that's going to be 3 free damage right to his face. I guess he doesn't really have an answer for any of this. It's rather fortunate for me. I'll play this. I mean, we're just trying to outpace him right now. Surprised he hasn't pulled like a Fiery War Axe or something along those lines. What's he gonna play? Probably Deathbite. Yeah, there it is. No real surprise there. Need to coin it out, but that's okay. Alright, so here we're gonna play Piloted Shredder and keep bashing his face in. And you see, this is a mid-range deck, but turn 4, we've already done 13 damage. Obviously it's a warrior, so he's going to start dropping shield maidens and armor ups and armor smiths and, you know, all that good stuff. Anyways, there. And it leaves a minion behind. So even though he killed it, he didn't really kill it. So he's in a bit of trouble. I'm going to play Lotheb. So even if he wanted to brawl, he couldn't. Down to 9 health. This game is actually going really well. It's looking a lot easier than it usually is. He's going to have to probably kill the Zombie Chow to live. Yeah. Alright, I don't think that was a very good example of a warrior game. Generally they're more drawn out than that. But I guess he just got really bad draws, or he was running a poor deck against mine, because usually warrior is one of the tougher matchups. Anyways, that's one game. That's generally what you do. You stay on curve, you play minions. Generally you want to hero power more than that, but I had a great curve in hand, and I was already getting a lot of pressure, so I didn't really see the need to put down the little dudes, because, I mean, Deathbite would have just swept them up if I had. Yeah. That's generally how the deck works. Let's see what else we got. Same guy. Maybe I should have waited a little bit. Yeah, whenever you get relatively high up in rank, you'll find that you play against the same dudes a lot of the time. And if you play a game and then you queue up immediately again, your chances are you're gonna be, you know, fighting against the same dude. Alright, let's see how this goes. I don't think this will go nearly as smoothly as last game. That was a turn 5 win. That hardly ever happens. Playing Knife Juggler. Bopper. So he didn't even have an Armor Smith last game. So next turn, alright, well he got some decent armor out of that. He got 3 armor out of the Armor Smith, so it's not a huge amount, but alright, so I'm actually going to coin out a Piloted Shredder here. And hit this guy. Decided to coin out a Shredder instead of hero powering because I drew another Shredder, and I can play this next turn. Doesn't look like he has much of an answer. So, Consecration. Would have been really nice if I had drawn Muster for Battle, because I would have played that instead of coining, and then this turn I could have coined Quartermaster and had, you know, all the dudes attacking. Of course, he could have Whirlwinded and gotten rid of that, which happens a lot. It's one of the reasons why it's kind of difficult to get ahead as warrior, because you play muster for battle, and a lot of the times they'll opt to keep whirlwind or mulligan for it, just because they know it's coming, and it gets rid of all your dudes for 1 mana. Alright, actually gonna do this. I'm gonna play this guy. Getting more dudes on the field is always good. The reason I Aldor Peacekeeper'd this and didn't do it to another minion might have been better, but I wanted to keep these guys alive. There's no efficient way of trading. And that would be my Skype. Anyways. Go to that and start pounding away at his face. Anyways, things are going fairly smoothly. You want to try to keep their board as clean as possible while keeping yours intact. Yeah, I kind of expected Baron. That's okay. I mean, I'm still going to have 3 minions out. Knife Juggler and a Flame Tongue Toad. Alright, well, I guess I'll do this. I'll play Sylvanas. Flame Tongue Toad was actually a really nice drop there. That's why the piloted shredders are so good, because they leave behind something. Left behind Flame Tongue and Knife Juggler. I mean, that's 12 damage on the board, plus this if he doesn't armor up or lay a taunt or get rid of something. I mean, I'm threatening lethal, technically. I mean, I really doubt that's what it's going to be, but I have 2 extra burst in hand with Consecration. So if he just plays something... Alright, yeah, he's going to do that. Alright, so I lost 4 damage. That's okay. Alright, what am I going to get? What am I going to draw? Alright, I'm actually going to do this.
Let none survive.
Alright, and there we have it. Actually, I'm going to hit him in the face. So I have another True Silver in hand. After this game, I am going to... Yeah, after this game, I'm going to take a small break. Maybe wait just a little bit. It's down to 1 health.
I can take the hit.
Oh, well played. Alright, there's another victory. Again, warrior matchups generally aren't this easy. I feel like he's either running a different deck than I usually see, or he's just drawing really poorly. Or I'm drawing really well, but I have drawn fairly well these last games. So we're just going to sit in lobby for just a little bit, see if we get matched up against a different kind of deck, because I don't want to play warrior 3 times in a row. Hopefully you guys are kind of getting an understanding of how this deck works. I mean, you play on curve, you keep your board filled, you keep, you know, not huge minions, but decent sized, you know, 3-4 attack minions out on the field. And that's just how you roll with it. Alright. Alright, we'll hop into another game. Hopefully we waited long enough. Alright, it's another warrior. I really don't want to play this, but it is Reynad. If you guys don't know who Reynad is, he's the owner of Tempo Storm, one of Hearthstone's professional teams. So I guess I'll play against him. Just yeah. I really didn't want to play against another warrior. They're just so common on the ladder now. This opening hand isn't fantastic, but it's not terrible. I mean, I did get the shielded mini-bots, but I also got Tyrion. Didn't get Zombie Chow this time. Let's fire off the rocket. One shot. Armor made defeat. Coins out Armor Smith. Oh, drop this guy. He probably has a Fiery War Axe. He's gonna ping this and then Fiery War Axe. That'd be my guess. It's very rare that warriors don't have Fiery War Axe in their opening hand. I'm actually surprised the last 2 games they didn't. If he drops an Acolyte, no, he can't drop an Acolyte, he coined this out. Alright, he had another Armor Smith. I guess I'll play this. So he's going to get a lot of armor off these two, but I need to get rid of them, or else these armors to count is just going to be massive. Alright, there's the Fiery War Axe. See, this is rather unfortunate, because I just don't have... I don't have anything to put down. I just have to hero power. Warriors. Warriors everywhere. This is a much poorer start than I had in the last 2 games. This is just not a very good hand. I mean, generally you want to save your... These just weren't really good consecration targets. I could have hit that one and consecrated, but I really would have rather not. He's gonna kill that. He's gonna get even more armor. I need to draw something here soon. Like a True Silver or something. Another thing with the warrior matchup is you want to save your healing for God. This is just tough. Say, I don't want to play Aldor because I want to save it for his bigger dudes, but at the same time I feel like I kind of have to play it because if I just play a 1-1 and pass, his board's gonna build, my board's gonna die, and he's just gonna get more armor from the Armor Smith for free. I just don't have anything to play. That's probably going to telegraph that, but I have to play something. This is not the start that you want with this deck. You want it to be upbeat, fast-paced, controlling their side of the board, and I have done none of those things. I let his board, I let him build up a board, I let him get 2 Armor Smiths out without my reacting to any of that. But again, there's not really very much I can do about that. Deathbite. He just has all the answers, and I have none of the responses. So I'll play this and this. Alright, that's what I wanted to hit. Alright, so this thing will only get 1 more armor, because he's going to attack with this and it's going to kill it. This hit face, that would have been pretty bad, because he might have had another way to remove this, or he could have set up a taunt and just let this... Actually, no, the whirlwind would have killed it anyways. That was a smart play. Alright. Again, I only have one option here, Dr. Boom. I mean, chances are he's just going to shield slam it, or execute it, or Big Game Hunter it. There are so many ways for him to kill this. This game is not going very well. This is probably going to be a loss just because I let the warrior dictate the tempo. I haven't drawn either of my weapons either, which is something to note. Gorehowl. I'll take that. Unless he wants to hit my face, I won't take that. Just be mean. That's a lot of his armor gone. Alright. This is what I am talking about. Alright, so there's Muster for Battle and Quartermaster. Okay, so that was really unfortunate. I was really hoping one of the boom bots would hit this for at least 2 damage, which really, you know, the chances of him hitting in the face twice are low. He may have just killed me. No, he doesn't have enough mana. Yeah. Hopefully my guy survives. Alright, Quartermaster lived. What do you know? I have just been getting run over this entire game. Alright. Well, I pretty much have to play Tyrion this turn. I don't have another choice. I can't Knife Juggler. I can't Knife Juggler and then that. Just no. Because I don't want to give him more draws. Antique Healbot maybe is an option. But that would, again, it would just leave me open to so much, and I need to have something on the board. So Tyrion is the way to go. I'll hit him in the face. The reason I'm using my weapon charge is because I have 4 charges, it's 1 damage. 1 damage isn't going to do a whole lot, and it's if he Harrison Joneses this, that's 1 less card draw. Normally they'll save Harrison for moments like this, you know, whenever I have Tyrion on the field. And my Ashbringer, and then they'll immediately throw down Harrison. He's running a Black Knight, that's kind of new. Alright, see now this next turn I have to heal. Because if I don't, I'm dead. Alright, so this would bring me to 16, minus 4 is 12. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm gonna play risky. Alright, I got lucky. If I had hit this and killed it, which seems like the obvious play, I would have still been at 12 health, because it would have done 4 damage, 16 minus 4, and Grommash does 12 damage. If you play Grommash and then Cruel Taskmaster, that's a 10 mana combo, and that's, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. There's 1. There's 2. Now if I can hit him a 3rd time, that would be pretty awesome. Actually, he didn't have enough mana for a 3rd time. I miscounted. That's okay. Actually, he has lethal here if he has Grommash and Cruel Taskmaster. Which doesn't look like he does, so that's good. He does have Baron Geddon, though. Alright, well, the cold truth of this is, I'm not going to win this game. I have to use both of my equalities before he even plays Alexstrasza or Ragnaros or Grommash, and I'm at less health than him. These are the only 2 cards in my hand. I have to use these to clear this, or else I risk lethal next turn. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much all there is to it. I didn't really have... I didn't draw very well that game. Is the, water. Well, anyways, that's just how that goes down. I'll play another game. If it's a warrior, I'll I'll just concede. I don't want to play another warrior for you guys. Anyone watching this video, you want to see some other matchups, maybe Hunter or Zoo, because they're more prevalent on the ladder. But at high ranks, Warrior is considered the most consistent, so a lot of people have been laddering with Warrior. Let's try this again. I'm sorry, Muzzy. There are just warriors everywhere. I'm losing legend rank, but that's okay. My goal was to hit legend, not to hit #1 legend. So if I lose a couple of legend ranks, that's no sweat off my back. I am perfectly okay with this. I'm here to showcase the deck that brought me to legend. I was really stuck at about rank 4 with the deck that I was using. Found this on Reddit, actually. Made a couple of tweaks of my own, and, well, here I am now. So we're going to keep playing until we find a non-warrior. We'll play that game, and then that'll probably be the last game for this video. If you guys want to see more videos of either this deck or other decks, I do have a full deck page there. You guys can, feel free to look at it. And if you want to see any of those decks, I'd be happy to showcase them. I mean, just leave a comment. Alright, Druid. Good. It's not a warrior. It's a victory. Oh, it's not a victory. It's a personal win. Anyways, alright. Opening hand, what you want to mulligan for are all your 1-drops, all your 2-drops, except for equality. I'm actually going to keep Piloted Shredder because I have a good curve here. And I have the coin. Normally, I'd mulligan Piloted Shredder as well and try to get either a 3 or a 2-drop. But you always want to keep these, and yeah. So, specifically, the cards that you want to keep are... Wild Growth, great. The cards that you want to keep are Zombie Chow, Knife Juggler, Shielded Minibot, Muster for Battle, and yeah, that's it. There are some, matchup dependent things, like against Druid, Aldor Peacekeeper's alright to keep, because generally, with the rampy stuff, you won't be able to trade efficiently. Aldor allows you to do that. They play like Ancient of Lore or an Ancient of War early on because of Wild Growth or Nourish, and you can just bring its attack to 1, trade your dudes into it, and most of them will survive. So he's gonna do this. Draw a card, kill my dude. That's okay. Alright, let's see what we draw. Didn't draw anything, so I was going to coin out the Piloted Shredder, but because we didn't draw a turn 4 follow-up, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep my coin. If I coined out the Piloted Shredder, I wouldn't have a play for turn 4. I would have done exactly this on turn 4, probably, which it's just, I want to keep on curve, and if I can keep the coin for a later occasion, then I'm going to do just that. Also, if he plays something huge this turn with like double Innervate, I can, Sludge Belcher. Alright. See, this is kind of what I was thinking. I would coin out the Sludge Belcher, but the coin now costs 5 mana. So that's not really a possibility. However, True Silver Champion is a very real possibility. Alright, there we go. That was a good top deck. I would have rather not played this and not been able to kill this immediately, but, sometimes shit happens. Partially, you say? Well, that's something. I'm going to play Sludge Belcher and swing. I'm going to keep my weapon. If he wants to trade into this, that's okay. I'll just trade into him next turn. Unless he uses Harrison Jones. Which would be shitty. Thank God he didn't do that. Am I right? Aha. Ah. Damn. Yep. Alright, another thing. Muster for battle against Druid is really risky to play because swipe, 4 damage to one thing, 1 damage to others. No bueno. So you generally, most of the time, you're going to want to save this for situations like where you already have Quartermaster in hand. Well, there's Quartermaster. So this turn is going to be a bit clunky. I'm going to play these guys and pass, and then next turn I can coin out Muster for Battle and Quartermaster. I could have cleared this board with Muster for Battle, coin, Consecration, because it would have been 2 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage from the weapon, and then Consecrate would have been left with 3 little dudes. But that would have, you know, brought me down to 3 cards in hand, and then I wouldn't have a good follow-up play the next turn. I just don't like that very much. Well, there's a swipe. So I'm probably dead. I need to draw a quality. If I don't draw a quality, I'm dead. I didn't draw a quality. Maybe I'll get a Doomslayer. I don't know. Wow. That could turn out to be amazing. Alright, so I'm going to do this. Kill this. So I'm down to 13. This may end up saving me, although if he has Force of Nature, Savage Roar in hand, I'm dead anyways. Generally, these Druid matchups is one of the more favorable matchups. Not many. Yeah, it's Force. Anyways. Generally, this is one of the more favorable matchups, but not many run Harrison Jones, and I have not seen any run Toshli, which is something I wasn't expecting. I'll give him a well played. Good job. Congratulations. Yeah. That, I did not expect any of that. If I had known he had Harrison in hand, I would have swung with my True Silver. Druid is one of those classes where you just don't expect them to play Harrison Jones. But Harrison Jones is really strong right now because there are so many warriors. There are actually a lot of paladins. There's still a lot of hunters. I mean, you have shamans, which aren't very prevalent, but they run Doomhammer and Power Mace now, another new GVG weapon. You have Handlocks with Jiraxis, has that huge weapon. Harrison Jones can be pretty beneficial. I mean, you have Priest running Blingtron now, which gives people weapons, which can combo with Harrison. Yeah, just stuff like that. So there's a lot more Harrison Jones. So it's something you have to kind of be wary of, but, you know, at the same time, it's about using your best judgment, and if you don't think they have Harrison, then you don't need to play around it. I mean, obviously, Warriors, they probably have Harrison Jones, so leaving a weapon up with full charges is a terrible idea against Warriors. You want to at least get some value back instead of it be just wasted mana. You know, you don't want to pay 4 mana to equip a True Silver just be, oh, I have extra mana at the end of this turn and nothing else to play. I'll equip a True Silver and just keep it. And, you know, Harrison Jones comes out and he just destroys your True Silver before you can even swing with it. And you just paid 4 mana to give him 2 cards. I mean, it's not a very good play. But anyways, that's the deck. I mean, you saw what it can do. I mean, won 2 games, lost 2 games. In 2 games we won, we drew very well. They did not draw very well. The Warrior game that we lost, we drew horrendously. And, you know, he drew pretty average. I guess he drew better than average. He had both Armor Smiths, a Fiery War Axe, and a Death Spite in hand. So I guess he drew pretty well. And then, you know, that Druid game, that was okay. I didn't expect him to run Harrison. But, what are you going to do? So anyways, that's the deck. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment below if you want to see more videos, give it a like if you can, that'd be nice. All these decks here are decks that I've made, or, you know, copied from someone else. This one is not my own deck, it's just my own personal flair on it. This is the very standard Mech Mage, very standard Handlock, very standard Control Warrior. New variant of Zoo that involves Sea Giants and Implosion, another new GVG spell. This is just a for fun deck that I made. It's Pirates. Control Priest, just standard Control Priest I made, standard Control Paladin, and Anti-Hunter. Yeah, it is what it says. It's Anti-Hunter. I would assume it does extremely poorly against other matchups, but it was designed explicitly to deal with Hunters. If you want to see more of these videos, just let me know. I'll make them. But until next time, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you later.